Okay, we are solving linear equations. We're learning how to solve linear equations and inequations. So linear means the power of x is 1. So for example, we've got 5 minus 3x minus 2 close bracket equal x. So the way to solve it, you expand and simplify and try and rearrange so you can get x in one side of the equation and everything else on the other side of the equation. So the 5 minus 3x, I'll expand first. And then I will remove this x to the other side of the equation. So I'll leave the 5 and 6 on this side, and then I'll take the negative 3x on the other side. So it becomes x plus 3x. So I've got 11 equal 4x. So now we always, when you rearrange, you do reverse operations. So there is 4x. So 4 times x, the opposite of 4 times x is divide. So that's why we will divide this side by 4 to get only x in this side. So that's your final answer. 11 over 4 equal to x. Okay, next question. So to do this question here, again, as I said, you'll have to first expand or rearrange so you can have x on one side of the equation. And so for this one here, because I've got a fraction on that side, so first I'll have to do the cross multiply to get rid of the fraction. You can either do the cross multiply or you can multiply everything by 3. They are the same thing. So this is kind of over 1. So that's why when you do cross multiply, 5x minus 2 times 1, just 5x minus 2, equal 3 times that, give me 12x minus 1. Now I've got brackets, so I'll expand first. And now I'll rearrange. So I'll have the x on one side and the numbers on the other side. So I'll remove the 12x from this side to go there. And because it's positive 12, so it's become negative 12. So that's why I'll have this. I'll leave the negative 12 on here. And then I'll remove the minus 2 to move it to the other side. Rearrange it. So that becomes positive 2. And that's where you get... Now I'll simplify each term, each side by collecting the like terms. So I get negative 7x equal negative 10. Now of only negative 7 multiplied by x, so the opposite of multiplication is division. So that's why the answer is negative 10 over negative 7. If you can simplify this answer, you can. If not, you leave it as it is. We've got negative divided by negative is positive. So that's why the final answer is that. Okay, next question. We can do this. All the questions that I'm using for these type of tutorials, they are exam questions. So if you can do these types of things, then it should be fine. Okay, now we've got two fractions. There is a minus between them. So the first step is getting rid of the denominators. And the easiest way in this to get rid of the denominator is multiplying everything by the common denominator. So in here, the common denominator is 15. So if I multiply everything here by 15, that will allow me to simplify the fraction. So I'll multiply the first the first fraction here by 15. So I'll rewrite it. You normally don't have to write it that way. So I'm just to show you how I'm multiplying by 15. So I'm multiplying everything by 15, which is the common denominator. Now I'll start simplifying. So that 3, 1, that's 5, and that's why you are left with 5, open a bracket, x plus 2, minus 5, 1, that's 3, and that's why you are left 3 times 4 is 12x equal 30. In this method, it's easier to get rid of all the fraction all in one step. and then now you can expand. So we've got 5x plus 10 minus 12x equal 30. Now adding the like terms, 5x minus 12x is negative 7x plus 10 equal 30. Now isolating the x, so taking the 10 to the other side first, becomes negative 10. That's why I'll end up negative 7 equal 20. Now you're dividing by negative 7. That's your final answer. We'll do one more of a fraction type of linear equations. Okay, so this one is different than the previous one. The previous one was two fractions and has minus between them, but that's why we found the common denominator. This one here, you've got a fraction equal another fraction. So you can use the same method as multiplying everything by the common denominator, or you can do cross multiplying here. I'll do multiplying everything by the common denominator is just because I wanted to be consistent with the previous. So the common denominator here is 6, so that's why I'm going to multiply everything by 6. Oh, that's, oops. That's 3. Oh, why I keep repeating? X over 3 times 6. Now I'll simplify. So that's 1, that's 3, that's 1, that's 2. Now I'll expand. So 3 times 3 is 9. And 2 times that. Look, I'm expanding in the next step. Don't try to do lots of steps all at once because there could be errors and confusion. You can do it lots of steps all at once you get confident. So 9x minus 9, I'm expanding now. And then we'll do rearrange. So we'll have all the terms with x on one side and all the other terms with numbers on the other side. So the 2x, move it to the side. Positive 2x becomes negative 2x. Remember, when we move sides or rearrange, we actually taking opposite operation. And positive 12 is here, and then that minus 9 becomes plus 9. So 9x minus 2x is 7x equal 12 plus 9 is 21, and then x equal 21 over 7, and you can simplify this further. That's why x equal to 3. Okay, now we're going to move to solve some inequations, which is quite similar to the linear equations. So the inequations, so for example, we have got 6x minus 4 less than 3x minus 12. Now the concept is the same. So the concept is rearranging and having all the numbers with x on one side and all the terms with x on one side and all the numbers on the other side. So in here I'll move this 3x to this one side. So I've got 3x minus 3x, 6x minus 3x less than, and I've got the negative 12 here. So I will move the negative 4 to this side, becomes positive 4. Now simplify each side. I've got 3x less than negative 8. Now divide by x. The only difference between the inequation and equation, when you divide or multiply by a negative number, the sign will flip. But this one here is positive, so the sign stays as it is. And that's your answer. Now let's do another example. Okay, so we will expand. So it's the same what we've used before. So we'll expand first. I've got 6x minus 2 greater than 1 minus 2x. So now rearrange. So the 2x move to the other side. Then the negative 2 move over there. then 6 plus 2 is 8x greater than 3. So x is greater than 3 over 8. So it's exactly the same way. I'm keeping the sign all the way down, and it's just because there is no negative number, that's why the signs stay as it is. Okay, so we're going to do this question here. So we've got a fraction in here. Again, we said when we fraction, we try to get rid of fraction by multiplying the common denominator. Here the denominator is 2, so I'm going to multiply everything by 2. So I'm just doing it the same way that I've done before, so to be consistent. And now I'll simplify and expand at the same time because I've got no simplification in there. And now I'm going to rearrange, having the x's on one side and the numbers on the other side. So now you simplify in here, so you've got negative 18x less than negative 15. Now I will have to divide obviously by negative 18, and now because I'm dividing by a negative number, that's why I will have to flip the sign. So I'll divide everything here by negative 18, and that's where I get x. Because I'm dividing by negative numbers, I'm going to flip the sign the way around, and then I'll write this. And then obviously you'll have to simplify. Negative divided by negative is positive. 15 divided by 3, they're both divisible by 3. 15 divided by 18 dividable by 3, so that's why I'll end up with 5 over 6.